because you probably can't talk that well anymore. And we're glad to be alive, and we hope that all of you live to be as handsome as we have seen you and your family.
Are you 80, Randy?
Do what?
Are you 80?
Yes.
Today, yes.
Did you change your birthday?
Well, you won't be 81 until October.
Oh, okay.
That's probably true.
No, that is true because you're 10 years older than me, and I'll be what, 70?
70. No, you're already 70, Martha.
Yeah, I am.
Mary, it's almost.
But Mary, I like your math, so I'm going to keep it.
Isn't it almost your birthday, Mary?
It's
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. That's what I thought. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
See, Mary, we're having a Zoom meeting just for your birthday.
Happy to be myself.
Well,
Eddie, come say hello to everybody. They know you as long as they've known me.
Everybody's not there.
Just about. Just say, hey, there I am.
Hey,
Eddie's moved to
Eddie,
South.
bend over so we can see your head.
You got to look down there.
Hi, Eddie.
Hey, Eddie.
He moved to Clemson. He wears orange now.
Ah, he needs to wear red next Sunday.
Yes, I agree.
Well, he wears red when Georgia plays.
Okay. Well, he needs to wear red next Sunday for the Chiefs.
Well,
Yeah, I just started recording this about 5 minutes ago, so I'll send the video out to everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody be nice. I don't think you can do anything but be nice.
that's true.
Well, Ed, is the pandemic keeping you from going where you want to go?
Yes. I have not been on an airplane since March.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know when I'll be on an airplane. I got places that I really need to be, and it's locked down. And
Well, you go get in Merrill's plane.
yeah, I'm still working on it.
he's got to get a diet plan to do that.
Yes. And I'm not doing too well on my diet. They say, to know if you got this virus, you lose your taste. So I eat everything, make sure I still have my taste. I got a question. This is an old-timey question about Mary and Roy. There was a story about Granddaddy told grandmother he had to go to Savannah on business. And he went down there, and then he called her on the telephone and said he was okay, the surgery went well, and she knew nothing about the surgery. What
That's
kind of
true.
surgery did he have? Does anybody know?
Gallbladder.
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 That's that. He did. He told her she could come get him. But she needed to bring somebody with her so they could drive the other car home.
If I was to do that, Jeannie Nelson would kill me.
Well, I think Grandmama was ready to.
Come on, it's a Nelson trait.
Yeah.
It's
Did you do
dig
that,
down
Ray?
deep.
Have you done that, Ray?
Close to it. No, I remember that car accident I had when I was 8. And Granddaddy came down, took care of everything, whatever, checking on me. And then he went back to tell Mary Lizzie after I got out of the hospital. He would never tell her anything, to quote, protect her.
Yep.
But I remember that time he had surgery and called grandmother to come pick him up.
Well, that's where my son gets it. He had a bike accident one time, and he called his dad and he said, "Dad, come get me and take me to the hospital, but don't tell Mom." Maybe it's a hereditary thing.
I think so.
Well, I think they think we overreact.
That must be.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of things Granddad didn't tell Grandma.
I heard one time she threw a hammer at him. Is that true?
I don't know about that. Mary?
Mary, do you know about that?
I don't know about that either.
Okay, maybe that's not true.
You know what I did last Sunday? I drove down to Yatesville with Martha. First time I'd ever been there, I think. That's where Granddaddy Harvey, where grandmother's father was from, right?
Batesville?
Yatesville.
I thought that was Thomasville or someplace like that.
It was Yatesville and up.
Where's
it's-
where is that?
it's in Upson County, which Thomaston is about 5 miles from there.
Okay. And you broke down, what'd you do?
I tell you what, Yatesville has about 400 people in it. I couldn't even get fast food down there. So I drove over to Thomasville to a Chick-fil-A. But we
How'd
do
you
have a-
drive if you broke down?
Huh?
How'd you drive if you broke down?
Broke down.
Didn't you say you broke down in Yatesville?
No. I drove down
Drove down, gotcha.
to Yatesville and then drove over to Thomaston. Actually,
you saying
Thomaston,
Thomaston or Thomasville?
Thomaston.
Thomaston,
Thomasville's down in South Georgia.
yes.
Thomaston is not far from Atlanta. But
Didn't they
is-
live in Madison at one time?
Huh?
Didn't they live in Madison at one time?
They may have, but Yatesville was where grandmother's father was. And his father is buried in Thomaston.
Oh,
He was a Civil War soldier,
And he was a Harvey?
a Harvey, right?
so did he fight in the North or the South? I'm
Oh, he
assuming
fought
South.
I think everybody fought for the South.
Not everybody. There was some that didn't.
I don't know
think
when
there's
he wrote
one
it.
article I read about the family. And it was I don't know how far back it was, but it was talking about, I think it was grandmother's family. Anyway, somebody, they were living in the one of the relatives who, it was a guy, and he had a store, they carried everything in the store all the time. And his place was right behind it. And he apparently was handicapped, like something was the matter with his leg.
Mhm.
But in the article, it said that he had been killed and that they had tried to find who had killed him. And in the way the article worded, and it was like, and they hadn't found out who it was to this day. And I was
Wow.
reading this about 10 years ago, and I thought, well, that's a long time for them to keep looking for that killer.
Okay,
Just the way it was worded was so weird.
Joe's coming in.
I see his ear.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, Joe, I haven't seen you in a while.
You're a
You
sight
got
for
Way.
sore eyes.
He's hiding behind the computer.
Is that, oh, yes. Hey, a sight for sore eyes.
Trying to figure out where the camera is.
Behind the camera.
Is it a laptop you have?
No, that's the computer. I see you now.
Right. I'm behind the big screen and it won't pull out. Mary, you look great.
You do too. You look just like Joe.
I'm Miss
Everybody
Martha.
looks the same. I'm just so glad to see Carl. I just haven't seen him, and he was one of my favorite little boys, but he was always a little boy. He's grown up to be a man.
I still am, little boy.
Well, man,
You're the
that's the
youngest
reason he
one.
hadn't wanted to see you, because that way he could always say a little boy,
There you go.
Doesn't have red hair anymore, but he still got some curls, it looks like.
No, not very much. Still got some hair though.
You got the hair.
She got hair.
Frank had pretty hair. He had real pretty white hair.
Jenny, who's behind you?
Oh,
Hey,
look at the girls.
Girls. Yeah, the girls came to say hey real quick. This is Anna Lee.
Hey, girls.
Girls.
That's the two oldest ones.
Well, they're getting so big.
And
I wish Ella and Grace could see them.
Yeah.
they're about the same age.
Yeah,
They
they are. 'Cause
They are.
Ella's 10 and Grace is 8.
Anna Lee will be 12 and Emerson will be 9 this year. And their baby's
Well-
2.
When did she turn 12?
She'll turn 12 in August.
Yeah, well, and Ella will turn 11 in August.
Okay.
What's your birthday?
August 4th.
August what?
4th.
4th. Ella was real sweet. Hers is the 9th. She was born on 8, 9, 10. So if I can remember hers, I can get everybody else's.
That's
I
like
got it pretty
Carl.
easy too. I'm 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
Really?
3, 4, 5, 6.
That's
Who
right.
is?
Carl.
Carl.
Carl, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
Oh,
I'll have to tell Ella that.
You know, I didn't even know that till, or I never put that together till about 5 years. Well, actually, a neighbor that knew my birthdays told me that. I never figured that out all those years.
that's a good pin number.
I guess it would be
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6.
But you're not supposed to use your birthday, I don't think.
No,
No.
that's not good.
Yeah, but when you're talking about a year, goodness knows.
Hers is 8, 9, 10. That's a pretty good one too, then. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a sweet girl too. I like them. I mean, they're all good children. I can't complain.
We have a very good family.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, we're all healthy. That's amazing that we got legs and hands and walking, and we got pretty good sense. Now, some of us have a little bit more than others. I always said Robert gets the most because he was the firstborn, and they tried to stuff it all in.
yeah.
So,
Tell me about it, Mary.
How long has Richard been gone?
26.
and what, 40s? When did Richard die?
January 12th, 1995.
95.
Wow. 26
Oh.
years.
Really miss him too.
Do y'all ever talk to Reggie?
Oh, yeah.
Talked to her the other day.
How's she doing?
She's doing fine. She's, her mother, who is 87 years old or something like that, is living with her, and she's doing pretty well.
Now, they're not napping still, are they?
Oh, no, they're in Marietta, or close to Marietta.
They live across from Suzanne and Jeffrey and the boys.
Now, Suzette and Jeffrey have how many children?
2.
2 boys.
2 boys?
One of them's graduating from high school this year,
Oh,
I believe.
it's amazing.
Well, do we want to go around and have everybody share something? I don't think we're going to have anybody else with us. Mary, you want to start out?
Since I'm in the corner, am I in the corner for everybody?
Yeah.
Eddie and I are living at the lake where we wanted to be. I don't know if you can see the picture behind me, but it's a picture that grandmother painted for me and Eddie when we got married, because I always wanted to be in North Georgia hills. We would take Randy to college up in Dahlonega, and we would go through Gainesville, and I would always say, oh, this is where I want to live. And so now I'm not in Georgia, I'm in South Carolina, but I'm in that golden corner that should be Georgia, so I'm just claiming it for Georgia. But we're in the hills, just like just like Gainesville. So we're where we like being. We do miss the people from Vidalia because we lived there 42 years. But our daughter lives in Edgeville. She's a court reporter now and a very good daughter. She takes care of me like she thinks I'm old. But anyway, I appreciate all she does, and she's doing real well. She lives closer to Martha than she does me, but she comes once a month and helps do the yard and helps me do everything. So she takes good care of us, and we're doing well.
What town did you say she lives in?
She lives in Edgeville, which is right up, it's South Carolina, but it's right up Augusta. It's not 30 minutes from Augusta.
It's
So
above
she-
North Augusta and Aiken, and on the side of Aiken.
But anyway, she's in South Carolina.
Okay.
She's not married. She has 4 dogs, and they're her family, and a donkey and a horse. And she lives in the woods in the country where she likes being.
I thought she was in Athens.
She was for a while.
Is she a Georgia fan or a South Carolina fan?
Oh, she's a Georgia. She graduated from Georgia in horticulture. She loves Georgia. And she would go back there. She just moved because of the job situation. So she's been, though, in Edgeville for at least 10 years, but she lived in Athens or Watkinsville most of that time. She lived with Ray Goff for a long time.
Well, not with him, but
Well, lived in his country. She lived in his country home and took care of his animals. She took care of his animals for a place to live. So
they're good
Anyway.
friends.
they're good friends, and she does well. But anyway, that's about what Eddie and I do. We're retired. I asked Eddie if he's gonna help me do something. He said, no, he's retired. So anyway, we do like where we are. We should all come see us. It's a really nice place. Joe's been, we had the soccer team here one time. Remember that, Joe?
I certainly remember that. Those girls loved that. I can remember them saying they wanted to eat spaghetti only for health reasons or whatever. And Eddie had a shrimp bowl and they said, well, they'd just try a little. And that's all they ate.
They decided they liked that shrimp bowl.
A lot better.
Joe had bought all this pasta because pasta was good for me. It was the soccer team. They were playing Clemson. I think they won that game.
I don't remember, but they were playing Clemson, and but y'all were very nice host. And the girls, I've still heard them talking about that, some of them among themselves going there. So remember when we went to the lake house by Clemson, so how far are you from Clemson?
10 miles.
So it was real close.
Yeah. It's gotten a lot busier since then because of the football team, but the coach is just really a nice fella too. I'm even getting to be a Clemson fan when they're not playing Georgia.
Christian man too, isn't he?
Oh yes, very good. Strong Christian, good morals. His players do Habitat for Humanity and anything else is volunteer. It's just amazing.
Did you hear what he did for his mother?
The quarterback did for his mother. No. Yeah, I did. I heard that he lived in college. Didn't he go to school and she lived with him or something like that?
Yeah. He was at the University of Alabama. I think he had I don't know if he was a walk-on or had a scholarship. She didn't have a place to live. They didn't have anything. He brought her to the dorm and he lived with her in the dorm when he was a freshman.
He's a very good fellow.
Not too many guys would do that.
His mama now has a condo right there close to Clemson that she can go to the game.
I bet she
Can you imagine having mama come live with us at college, Mary?
Not my mama.
Yeah, but we would.
She threatened to bring me home when there was a panty raid at Georgia Southern and we couldn't even walk across the campus without a coat on. But yeah, she was kind of
thing anymore.
But Joe, Mary doesn't live in that house that y'all had the Low Country Bowl in. we built right next door to it. So we get to see the people that we used to share the house with now. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, they're our neighbors. They were our neighbors in Greenville, and now they're our neighbors again.
Holly also went to Statesboro. One time she went to your lake house in Clemson, but she came to Statesboro because I think SMU played Georgia Southern. You remember that?
Seems like I do, but
It was just Holly.
it was just Holly. That was just your daughter. But
And
yeah.
it was her boyfriend at the time was a quarterback of SMU, and she wanted to go to the game, and Dee wouldn't let her go unless she stayed at your house. And I can't remember how she got there, but anyway, she went, and I think she stayed with you one day. She wasn't there long, but
But that was exciting times. Long time ago too.
way long.
Our little boys are growing up. I remember when they came to the family reunion, and I loved meeting her little boys. They were so cute, but they're getting so big. I see them on Facebook, and they are the cutest things. Everybody's children are growing up.
That's true.
Enjoy seeing everybody. I wish everybody would send me Christmas pictures of their family, like Ed and Joe and Marilyn and Randy. I
didn't do any this year.
I know, but I just use I keep yours for a couple of years.
Okay.
So I still got y'all. I got, but those are neat to keep up with how they change, especially since, we all grew up together.
Mary, I'd like for you to, after the Zoom video to turn around and take a picture of grandmother's painting and send it to me.
She had a small one like that in her house. I think Randy has that one. I think Randy and Leah got that one.
Got behind you. Take a
But
picture.
the one behind me, she made a bigger one that I got.
Well, that's pretty big back there.
Yeah, she said it was never finished though. She gave it to us, but she said the ground wasn't finished, but it's finished to me. I like it. I like anything.
And I liked it a lot because Mary, for a while, she didn't have it hanging in her house. And so I had it in my other house when Bates was living. And then she moved to the lake house and she said she wanted it back. I don't know why she had to take it back, but it does look good up there and I get to see it, so.
Let's see, Martha, you want to be the next to share?
Well, I shared last time. I don't have anything to update.
You've already.
Except that I am so thankful Mary is doing well because.
Have you had the vaccine?
I've had one shot. I think I have Mary can't because she had C. difficile, Clostridium difficile, and it took her down for a while. But then she had this great nurse named Victoria that went up and took care of her and made a doctor's appointment.
And I said we weren't talking about that.
I mean, I'm just saying what happened and that you're well now. As far as I can tell.
That's good.
You still
Mary, see, she's always told me what to do. So we're back to being told what to do. So. But I'm doing fine. I don't have any, it's just, seems like time flies. I help with Victoria's girls with the carpool when she needs me. Now
Do
that
you
they're
stay
getting
in
older.
Augusta most of the time or at the lake house?
Beg your pardon?
Do you stay at the lake house or in Augusta?
In
Most
Augusta.
In Augusta.
During the school time, I stay in Augusta mostly.
And they're going to have the Masters in April, right?
They're having it, but I get tickets, but I didn't get chosen this year. They're having it's very
Very few
limited.
people.
I rent the house. It's like right off of Berkman Road. So it's closer to the tournament than it used to be. I'm about maybe a mile and a half to the gate.
Are you doing that this year?
Yes, well, yes and no. The people that rented it, they always pay in advance, and so they gave me they gave me the money for last April. And then they couldn't come, and they didn't get chosen to be some of them that came in November. So I keep contacting them to see if they want the refund, and they keep saying, no, just keep it. So I've already spent it, which is a good thing. So they're planning on coming. They said, we'll see what next year happens, and so they just want me to hang on to it. And I guess eventually, but the men that rent it are from South Africa, and they're affiliated with the golf course that Gary Player is affiliated with.
Oh,
And it's more of a work thing for them to come. They
okay.
kind of advertise the course, I guess, and everything. But so they're working while they're here. So it's a good setup for me because they can take care of the house, but they always leave something. Like one year they
Hope it's good.
So this year and every year it gets to be more interesting what they leave. So this year they left a really nice pair of golf shoes and a really nice pair of men's trousers and something and I have like about 6 of the folding golf chairs, master's chairs that I just store for them. So they'll say, did I leave my shoes? Yeah. Well, will you keep them till next year? So it looks like I have men living here, but I don't. But anyway, so I'm just holding on to their money until, of course, I use it to do things on the house. So
Right.
it's all good.
Are you going to be there at the Masters this year?
I didn't get my tickets either. So
But you are going to let some people in?
they're going to let some people in, and I don't really know how they chose who's getting tickets. I don't know if they did like a lottery and just pulled them out or what, but they said that but because I've already paid for the tickets for this past April, they didn't refund us in November, but they're going to go ahead and give me a refund of my tickets. And then I will, but I will be back on the purchasing list for not this April, but the following April.
Okay.
I will say they've been the people they run the tournament very well, and they do what's right. I feel like, even though it's been frustrating because they've widened the road. Berkman Road's been wide. It's now 3-lane, and they have a roundabout. So the road in front of my house has been messed up a lot. But they, they think about the patrons, and they let us, the ones that get tickets, they let us shop at the gift shop online, which was great because then I didn't have to walk around with bags. I just went to my front porch and got it right off the porch. So, and most of it was, friends came and looked at what they wanted, and so they ordered, but it's good. What is that noise? It sounds like somebody's grinding a pencil.
Place to place.
Okay. Who's next, Robert?
Oh, anybody? Let's see. How about Maryland?
Well, I don't really have any updates either. We all had a fun Christmas and things are just the same. We've been doing well. Weldon got his first shot on Friday, and we're just wearing our mask and staying home. We think we maybe should move to Texas one of these days, but we haven't done so yet. So watch a little football on TV, and we watch a little Texas Tech basketball. They're doing well.
Yeah, Jay's in Texas, right?
Right. Jay's 100 miles.
Right.
And so, we've seen them, and that's about all. and the kids, and their kids are going to school. The kids in New Mexico have not gone to school this year. And there's even been some people leaving here to put their kids in school in Texas. So anyway, we're doing good. Mary, I'm glad you're doing better. Carl, I'm glad to see that you signed on. I wish I could have got Jim too. But anyway,
Oh, we need to figure out a way to get Jim and Trudy on.
how's that?
They have not a great connection at their house, I think.
Well, they have another house in Las Cruces now,
Yeah, if they could do it in Las Cruces, that would.
but they don't have Wi-Fi in Las
They don't have
Cruces.
Wi-Fi.
Well, Trudy kind of likes it that way right now.
She couldn't escape.
People won't leave her alone, you know, because she's the New
Giving-
Mexico Health Department, and you know she's giving shots every day, and she's working from Las Cruces a lot, but goes to the ranch, or Jim goes down there, and then at the ranch they don't have very good connections either.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because it's 17 miles out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, I was going to tell you, I have a picture that grandmother did hanging on the wall behind me, but I don't know how to show it to you. But I'll take a picture of it.
Take a picture of it.
Savannah, and you remember that book, The Garden of Good and Evil?
Yeah.
That movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, supposedly this picture that she painted is in that park that was in that movie. It has that park bench.
That was in Savannah, right?
Uh-huh.
In Savannah.
So I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it.
Grandmother did it.
Yes.
Wonder if it's Forsyth Park. I'll have to see it. When you send a picture, I'll see it.
The statue I thought was at the cemetery.
She said it was a park that was in it.
Yeah, the park. It's got 3 trees and it's got a green park bench and some kind of a little structure at the back with arched doorways.
Oh, okay.
Lots of kind of dark greens and grays, and it's got purple blooms hanging off the tree.
Wisteria.
Might be because it looks like a vine that's growing on the tree.
That's
Yeah.
wisteria.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll send it to Robert and you can send it to him.
I used to love to go to Savannah with her when she was going to the art. She would always go by the art store and buy supplies, and it smelled so good in that store to me. And it was fun because you got to, I mean, it was just a tiny little building, but it was packed with good stuff that I like to look at.
Well, then I went to a movie in Savannah. Was it with Mary and Eddie? And we saw Gone with the Wind. Do you remember that, Mary?
I don't remember that, but I remember the wind. I remember the movie.
And then in the movie, you know, we're all sitting in that movie in theater in Savannah. And in the movie, it said, Scarlett or whoever says, well, whatever is there to do in Savannah? You know? we all laughed. We still remember that.
That
Yeah,
was,
theater.
I saw it in Savannah when it first came out, and that everybody in the show just roared then because it was brand new out. I mean, it was that's comment.
Well, y'all know Grandma and Granddaddy went to Savannah, got married at 7:30 in the morning so they could go to Savannah
No.
for their honeymoon. Because it took them that long to get there.
At 7:30 in the morning?
They got married at 7. Now, this is what I hear. This is what I heard. They got married at 7:30 in the morning. Granddaddy had the Ford dealership. They took a Model T, went to Savannah. It took them all day because there was no paved roads going to Savannah from Glenville. They got married in Glenville, went to Savannah, and so they would be there before dark. And Uncle Duke, her brother, followed them. He and Aunt up the road. And
You know,
Grandmama, and it was the hotel. Ed, what's that hotel? The old hotel that's in Savannah.
Ooh, the
Just
soda
right there.
Hilton?
Right there on the corner.
Tell them DeSoto.
The Soda Hotel.
Yeah,
That wasn't the Soda, it was another one on the other corner, another square.
Ooh,
The Pink House?
No, no,
'Cause that was a hotel at one time.
I got to figure it out. I'll have to look into that.
it's on the corner, it's on one of the circles.
Yep.
But it's not the DeSoto. I want to say like a Wanderer or Waverly or I can't remember. But anyway, that's where they went. And in the lobby, grandmother fainted and granddaddy didn't weigh any more than grandmother. And so Uncle Duke had to carry grandmother up to the room. That's the story I've heard from grandmother.
Oh,
So if y'all don't know that story, that's the story.
you know, we got married on their 51st anniversary,
Oh,
and it was on a Thursday. And so we got married on a Thursday because that was we were going to get married on their 50th anniversary, but we decided we were too young. We'd wait another year. So that was in 1968.
was that March the 27th?
No, it was August 15th.
Oh, I thought they got married in March for some reason.
That's their birthdays.
Oh, okay.
They got married on August 15th, but we did not get married at 7:30 in the morning. I didn't know that.
But you know, Marilyn, I still have the dress.
You're kidding.
Mm-mm.
That
And I
Mary wore.
Because Mary
Not
wore her
Grandmama's dress.
grandmama's, but the one you got married in, the one that you got from Mary.
Okay.
So Mary wore it first,
January wore it second.
and then
Ellen
you
wore
wore
third, you wore.
and I was terrified that the thing wasn't gonna fit me.
But it did.
It was so tiny, but it fit me, so I wore it.
Wow. And you still have it.
We still have it. Mhm.
Wow.
It's at this house, yes.
Is
yeah,
it
do
in
y'all
one of those big
remember
white
that,
boxes from the cleaners?
So what, Marilyn?
In one of those big white boxes from the cleaners?
Yeah.
I think I took it out of the big white box because according to Martha Stewart, it's better to put it in a white cotton cover. So I made one and put it in there.
How funny.
y'all remember the motel that Granddaddy owned in Savannah that had an indoor swimming pool that was heated?
Yep.
I worked there one summer.
Vinyl Motor Lodge.
Yeah.
It is,
What was
it's no
what
longer
was
there.
it? What was it called? It was a motor lodge,
Savannah Motor Lodge.
Savannah. Gosh darn it. On 17, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
One
Swimming pool's
summer I
gone.
worked there
Hotel's
as
gone.
a night clerk.
Well, I wonder if Randy, the handsomest one, would like to share right now.
Well, I don't have a lot to say. All I was going to say is that Robert was the most impressive person that I knew, because he would come to the house and he would pull out the computer.
No, you went to his house.
Yeah, I went to his house, and Robert would begin to tell me stories about people he knew, and he would he knew all these Chinese and all these people from other countries, and he would be talking and he'd get carried away, and I never knew what he was talking about. But I thought that Robert was the most intelligent person in the world. And I still think that.
Well, you're not too smart if you believe that.
Well, I thought that Robert was the most intelligent person I ever met in my life. And he was a scholar to me. And then I found out that he didn't know everything, but I thought Robert, you are a work in process.
I'll tell you what I always said. If anybody thinks knows all the answers, hasn't heard all the questions.
Well, you're probably right, because you know more than most any people I ever knew. But my problem is that sometimes I can't say what I want to say, and that's good, because most people don't have anything to say anyway. But what I wanted to say is that I think we have a wonderful family, and I think that you people have made a mark in this world, and we will always be we will always wonder about how Mary and Martha and Kit and Bobby and we got along with y'all at the time, but our grandchildren have been awesome. I mean, when they rolled out the ball, we were there to catch it, and our football players were as good as there was in the country, and we loved athletics, and we loved sports, and we loved all the things that were involved with it. And Ed, you might be the biggest, but you were the most handsome too. I thought you were handsome, but and all the your family have been an inspiration to us, and our 30 years that we spent in Toronto were awesome. I mean, if you never lived in Toronto for one day, you learn more in one week than probably you'll ever live the rest of your life, because there were some awesome people in Toronto and the rest of the country. But you guys are special, and we when I learn how to talk, I'm gonna tell you all about it. But right now, I'm still trying to get anyhow. I think that's what I mean, y'all. I wish I could talk better, but I'm not as good as I used to be. But I'm still as handsome as I ever was.
All the thoughts are still there, Randy. You're doing great.
I'm just kidding.
How old are you, Randy?
About 150.
He's 80 right now.
No, I'm 80 years old, or a little.
Have you had the vaccine?
We've had one shot, and he said he started to give me the second one. I says, I think that's enough for me. And no, we have another shot we got to take. But what I wanted to tell you was, one of the most beautiful people that you'll ever see is my wife, Lillian. And she's a beautiful, she's a good looking lady. And I'm not as handsome as I used to be, but she makes me beautiful. And we love all of you. And I hope that you all live another 40 years, because you deserve it. And tell Robert that Richard, but Ray, tell Ray that I think he's still the handsomest one in the group.
So eyesight is another thing, huh? for all of us.
Yes.
Richard.
When Richard and I were a little heavier than Ray, and when Ray came along, we wondered if he was really Daddy's son. But course. You know, Rayland's different.
Well, tell the whole story. There was a rumor about the milkman.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Yeah, I don't tell that on Cantor.
I know. Can you imagine that? That's awful. That's awful.
Well, we delivered a lot of milk in my day.
You said
Randy, you're great, man.
Carl, how about you?
Not a lot to update, but just Houston's starting to come back a little bit from the COVID. Most companies are still working remotely, but some things are starting to open up now, and churches are opening up finally. Some of the schools are. So anyway, just really love living in Houston. Just very nice, friendly people here, and really a lot to do. Good place to live. So anyway, just happy to be here. Happy to have good health.
And there's good weather.
What's that?
And there's good weather in Houston.
Good weather. That's one thing nice about Houston too. Is about 6 months of summer here, and a spring, and a winter is more like fall in most places. So it's very nice weather. Very nice out today. It's about 70 degrees out. So very pleasant. Very nice.
So you didn't have any problems with floods and all that we saw on the news?
Actually, that and they had that storm Harvey, and that came within about 1.5 feet of my house, or my place. It was the rain, rain like 42 inches, I think, in a 1 or 2 day period, and I was fine with that. And then they had started letting water out of a reservoir, and I'm real close to one of the bayous, so it really started. Water came up real high. We thought it was going to hit it, but fortunately that it leveled off and crested right before it got to me. So that was a real pain to go through that, because it was 2 or 3 weeks before the roads were really opened up. So that's quite an experience at that one. I've been through 2 hurricanes here, and then that flood. But I think the flood was the worst thing that we had.
There's the flood. I mean, like, it looked like MD Anderson was flooded.
It was all over town. They have that bayou system. I mean, it not everywhere was, but I mean, you had, patches all over town that were flooded and underwater, just depending on where you were. But I think there was a lot of water around MD Anderson. I don't know if the actual hospital flooded or not, but I have a friend who was a nurse that was working in that area at the time of the flood. She was having a horrible time getting to work, but her office was still open. So, I mean, it wasn't in MD Anderson, but in the medical center where the MD Anderson is. So,
Yeah. Well, I know I inspected. I was part of a team. We had teams that would go in and inspect, and one of the labs or some of the research facilities were down in a basement underneath. And I'm like, ooh, I bet that got flooded.
it probably did.
And that's some high dollar equipment down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty nasty all around town, but the office where I was working at the time flooded, so we couldn't go back to the office for about 2 weeks. I think it just didn't really just flooded part of the lower floor, but it got the air conditioning and things like that, so they couldn't really open up the office for quite a long time. But boy, there were, what was real sad, I could see out my window, and there, just these a row of houses there that, virtually all of them were flooded, and they had people in motorboats coming in there rescuing the people. You could hear that for days, going for days like that. It was pretty traumatic for a lot of people. I was just real blessed that it didn't quite get to me. So,
yeah.
But you had for months and months and months, you just had, piles of debris of houses that had to be, torn apart on the inside. It was really something else. That was really crazy storm. You know, it's just one of those tropical storms, and came over to Houston and kind of just stayed here for days. Anyway.
Okay, Joe, how about you?
Well, we're doing fine. Dee and I got the vaccine a couple of weeks ago, and we get our second shot February 11th, and then we'll feel a little more comfortable about going places. But really, people where we are, our grandkids are in school. Dee and I mean, we're careful, but we still go out to eat. We go to restaurants. We hadn't been to any movie theaters or anything, but we go to a lot of stuff and play golf outside, and so we're living life pretty normal, you know. And but it's pretty cool, you know. Marilyn likes Marilyn's a Chief fan for the Super Bowl because Mahomes went to Texas Tech, and I think he lives in Dallas, but a lot of people really like him. And all of them, that one football player, the Houston Oilers, he became a hero down there where Carl lives during that flood. Because a lot of them were like saying, you know, I feel sorry for this guy and treat me that way and stuff. But this guy named J.C. Watts, I think, had a boat.
Yeah.
He was an oiler, and he was going from house to house rescuing people. And I can't remember, they said like after 3 days he hadn't slept or something. And anyway, I think that's really neat to see. Like, you hear all the bad things about athletes. That guy, Houston, where Carl lived, was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you get over to see Carl some? I mean, not, Jim?
I went to see Jim last June, and we go to Colorado still in the summertime. And on the way up there, I went and spent the night with Marilyn and had dinner with her. And the next morning, I drove over and had lunch with Jim, and then went on to Colorado. So see him some, you know, but not as much as we'd like to. And I think this is really neat to do this Zoom. And I don't know, we talked a little bit about doing one of these in person. And I've kind of thought about it. I think we ought to have the first one, just the cousins, and maybe the cousins and the wives or spouses, but and no kids, no grandkids, and just fly into some big airport, get there at noon one day and spend the afternoon talking, dinner the next night, maybe breakfast the next morning, go home. And then maybe the next year or something we could do with all the grandkids, kids and everything. But I love all you guys, and the memories that I have from when we were little are a big part of my memories, and I cherish those fondly and greatly, and I always will. And anyway, this Zoom is great, but I'd really like to have a real one. I don't know when, but a year from now, when this is over or something.
I wonder if maybe when we all get the vaccine and get a better feel for how we've contained this thing, maybe towards the end of the year. I think we'll have to see, right?
I'd be up for anything anybody wants to do, you know, just be it entire families or just be cousins or cousins and spouses.
Joe, I agree with you. Cousins.
I think we're getting old enough, we can do it every year, and we're sort of retired. Except Ed's not retired. Joe, I don't think you're retired either, are you?
No, I'm not retired.
No.
Are you ever going to retire?
What?
Are you ever going to retire?
No. Why? I mean, you got to have a purpose when your feet hit the floor, you know, but I'm still working pretty much every day, all day. And,
But you're pretty free to do what you want to do though, if you want.
oh yeah, yeah, I can do and go and where I want, when I want, you know, and I would go anytime you want to.
Okay, Ray?
Oh, that's me. No, not a lot to add to a month ago. Just want to see the grandkids more and not ready to fully do that. Maybe after the second shot, we'll see. But Arizona is one of the hot states right now. They haven't gotten it under control. So I don't know. That would be the main thing. Business has slowed down. I'm like Ed. I haven't been on a plane since January of last year. And it's hard to do things when you need to be in person. Zoom, this is great for us for Zoom, but it's not so good when you're trying to meet with a client. But anyway, we'll get through all this.
No, you said that she was moving to North Carolina. When will that happen?
Well, the target was this summer, and it would be a Wells Fargo there with Wells Fargo out in Phoenix. And Charlotte is the only other major location for Wells Fargo, so they can move there. Can't move to Atlanta. Atlanta is no longer a banking community, as you know, but Charlotte is, and that's where they can move. But COVID is, we'll see how that impacts all that. It may or may not happen this summer, but it will happen at some point.
Ed.
Well, y'all can see I'm here in Jeannie's daycare center behind me.
Are those your toys?
I used to be. But Jeannie usually has a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old here. And then sometimes she's got the 4-year-old. He comes in after lunch. So it gets kind of interesting here at the house. And I wouldn't have anything any other way. I'm so fortunate to have the children close by living in Ridgeville. And they're glad Jeannie's here to take care of the children. So that works out real well. I do know what cabin fever is like now. I never have been in one place so long in my life. I can remember living in Ridgeville back in the 60s. And I don't think I would leave the city limits of Ridgeville for 2 years sometimes because I didn't have any business anywhere else. You could do everything you wanted to do in Ridgeville. You could go to the picture show, movie theater. We had 6 grocery stores. Now we got 1. So anyway, it's been interesting. My sisters and I did not get together for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Each time we started to do it, said, well, we better not, we'll be safe. And one time, Tara's son-in-law had the virus for Thanksgiving. And then Tracy got the virus when we had something scheduled for December. But she's doing good now. Her daughter, Courtney, and her husband had the virus. So Tracy had to look after the babies. They live in Charleston. But
when did Tracy get it in?
She had it in December, sometimes 3rd, 4th, something like that.
Was she very sick?
Not bad. She did real good. I mean, she just had the flu-like symptoms. And, I talked to her and, everything, went real well, for her. Here in our county, after Thanksgiving, everything started popping with the virus. And we November and December, December and January has been our worst 2 months with the virus. So lost some good friends, young fellas, with the virus. But I had my board meeting the other day and I said, look, I'm going to get sick between now and Thanksgiving, between now and Valentine's, but it's going to be allergies every year for the last 5 years, allergies jump on me real bad. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully, you know, this COVID will stay away. You know, Jeannie and I still go out and eat. We don't go to crowds. I hadn't been to any sporting events this year. I'm not real big on wearing a mask for 2 hours. When you take a big fella like me breathing his own air for 20 minutes, you have to come up for air every once in a while. So, you know, we got that going on. But, you know, this virus will be over with sometimes. And, you know, I think a lot about, you know, old times there in Reedsville, and, you know, Grandmama and Granddaddy's 50th wedding anniversary in 1967, how we were all there and, you know, celebrated. And now it's 54 years later. And now we're all talking to one another all over the country with this computer stuff. And to think back in 1967, we'd be doing something like this today. We've come a long way. But you know, watching the excuse me, you know, the virus, you know, getting together later in the year somewhere, you know, just the cousins and spouses, you know, I'm all in for that. Hopefully this virus will, you know, bow its head and, you know, be going away by then, and everybody had their vaccinations. But, you know, as far as places, you know, we mentioned Atlanta, Jacksonville. You know, Jacksonville's a little bit better to travel through with the TSA versus Atlanta, but, you know, that's just my idea. You know, we can talk about that later. But it's great seeing everybody here on the computer, but, you know, being face to face, you know, is a whole lot better. So that's about it.
Okay. Everybody's shared, I guess, except me.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot of news or anything. This has been a year that's been unprecedented. We said that a whole lot, right? And I'm still teaching calculus. This may be my last semester to teach it online at the college for several reasons. One is that the enrollment is down. They may not need part-time teachers as much as they did, but maybe after the virus goes away, our enrollment will come back. But I've had a lot of fun with about 25 calculus students online. Now, Martha had been having a rough time with pain in her muscles for several years. And just recently we found out what she had, and it was rheumatica, some kind of, I'd have to go look it up. But anyway, she's taking Celebrex, which is like a miracle. All of a sudden, for the last month, she's been going to bed and not having to wake up with pain or anything. So that's been, to me, a miracle that she's feeling better. It used to be she would have a bad day about 30 to 40% of the time. And now a rheumatologist in Atlanta found out what the problem was, and Celebrex seems to work. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
With respect to the virus, very, very careful. I've had some friends back in Lyons to pass away. And then another one who lived across the street was on a ventilator for 47 days. He was 73 years old, and he still has a feeding tube in his stomach, even after coming off the ventilator. And then a football player that played with Richard died about 3 weeks ago, and he was 74 years old. It's hard to predict what it's going to do to anybody. I had an 85-year-old friend who got it and is doing okay. So I have been analyzing this with calculus. It turns out that the calculus I know can not only look at space guidance and space navigation, but I can track and and plot what's going on with a virus that's spreading. And the numbers don't lie. The numbers I predict have been to where we are now. And we still haven't conquered it yet. The number of deaths in this country rank just below cancer now in the number of deaths that we normally have. From year to year, deaths go up about 1% or so, up or down from year to year. That's what you generally see of death rate. This year, the death rate in the US is going to be about 15%, which is an absolute horror kind of thing. Nothing like that has happened since 1918, when a combination of World War I and the Spanish flu gave a 40% increase in deaths in the US. So I'm taking it seriously. And I think none of us know what will happen if we get it. It could be good, could be pretty difficult. So I've been wearing a mask. And if I go to a restaurant to eat, it'll be outside. Now it's too cold now to do that. But before the winter came, we would go sit outside at a nice restaurant. But I'll be glad, since we got the vaccine about 3 weeks ago, we'll get another one in about a couple of weeks. And I'm ready to get back to something that's a little bit normal. But I sort of think if you guys would want to, let's try to meet in person every year. Not wait 5 years, do it this year, do it next year, do it the year after, just as long as we're able to do that. So.
I'd go for that.
Okay.
We got to get over this virus and then let's set a date.
Yes. Would you like to have another one of these in another month or so, or what do you think? I would like to get Jim on here, Jim and Trudy. I'm not sure what the technical answer will be for them. We moved it to Sunday so that they might be available, you know, but I guess Trudy's in Las Cruces now. Mm-hmm. But they don't have Wi-Fi, so. If he's got a cell phone, though, he can call on his cell phone.
He's got a flip phone.
Now that will not work.
I was thinking that maybe if we set up, I know football season is in September, but that's when the weather, September, October, and not a lot of things are going on. And I'm hoping by that time things are better. And even if we flew into someplace, Greenville, South Carolina is a great place to be. I don't know if y'all read or seen or anything, but I've always loved Greenville from the time we got out of college and went there, but it's just gotten so much better. And they have a Poinsett Westin hotel that's got seating area around and is close to downtown and it's walking places. And it's not far from the airport, and it's not a huge airport because I don't like huge airports. But anyway, and it's really, you could be there within 2 hours from the Atlanta airport. But I think we need to kind of say, let's do something in, I don't know, people that are still working, Ed, Carl.
Mary.
What?
There's Steve.
Hi, Dee.
Well, hey, Dee. I just Hey, Joe looks different. He's got a hat on his head.
Yeah. I have a hat on. I have my glasses. Earrings. He's got earrings on too. What are y'all doing?
We just
I'm
trying
trying to tell him we need to do something at a certain time. And Joe left me and he was supposed to help me out with this.
Well, let's hope he can do it. He doesn't like helping me much.
Well, then he mentioned a while ago, we need to have time to get together. If we don't get
Yeah.
together but a weekend, just fly into somewhere. I'm saying you could fly into Greenville.
Yeah, we could
We
fly
could-
in anywhere. We get
Um,
our second shot February the 11th. Have y'all gotten your shots yet?
Some of us have. I have, and my second one's gonna be on around the 14th.
Yeah. So, well, y'all are all looking pretty good, I tell you. These guys talk, or they just have their picture up here.
They've been talking. Even
Feeling good.
Oh, hi.
That's Robert.
How are you, Robert? Good.
That's right.
Trying to keep Joe Broom in line.
hey,
That's
where'd
possible.
Billion go? Did
What?
y'all leave
I don't
I
know.
missed-
They must have turned off their pad or something.
or it went dead? Maybe it might have went dead.
No, here's Joe. Okay, you guys take care, be good cousins to each other, and make Joe fly us out there sometime.
That sounds good.
Tell your kids all hi.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
So are we gonna do this in another month or so, or what would you suggest?
Yes, you're the one that's doing all the
Joe
work.
can make a decision. I mean, I'll sign in if everybody's doing it. It's Zoom.
Yeah. I can do it.
You-
can-
you
Now
wanna-
that now that Robert has my email address,
Yeah.
I'll be sure and get my sisters involved.
You,
Okay.
yeah,
And I have to tell you though, with what you were saying about keeping the children and everything, you know what it reminded me of? Corrine.
yeah.
She took care of y'all really well.
Spent a lot of time with her. Yeah.
She was a sweet lady.
Would you like to try to do this sometime in March then? Or is that, you want to do it in February?
let's go for March.
Let's go for March at like a Sunday afternoon. Is that pretty good?
Yeah.
My calendar is wide open.
For
I'm going
for
nowhere.
March,
Well, everybody look at your
What
calendar.
month is
Tell
a
me a
good
Sunday
time?
in March.
Late afternoon Sundays.
Is 3 o'clock in Dallas too early?
That's pretty early.
What about 4?
About 5.
We'd do it 5 Eastern time.
All right.
Okay, we'll change it from,
what's that in Dallas?
4.
is that too early?
I'll make that work.
Okay, we'll do 5 Eastern time.
What day?
The if we still have daylight savings time, that takes place on the 14th. So I wouldn't recommend the 14th.
So you want to do it the 21st,
When's your birthday, Robert?
the 25th?
What day is that on?
Thursday.
We don't need to do it on my birthday for sure.
You don't want us all singing happy birthday with our good Nelson voices?
Let's just do it on the last Sunday in March. So it's easy to remember because that's what we've been doing.
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay, that'll be the 28th.
Yeah.
Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday.
Is that gonna be a problem?
No.
No.
I think so for us.
I go to church that morning. It's beforehand.
Okay,
What time we talk about still? 5?
5 o'clock Eastern. Okay, I will put the video out and send it to everybody, or the link to it. And you all look great.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely
Yes. Thanks for
wonderful.
all your hard
Yeah,
work.
thanks, Robert.
Don't we want to end by wishing Mary a happy birthday tomorrow?
Yeah.
Who can sing? Ed, you can sing, can't you?
Not
You want to sing happy birthday?
Yeah, let's do.
Let's do it.
And sync this together.
Okay. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to you. Come on,
Birthday to
to you.
you.
Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you.
And many
And
more.
many more.
And I hope you recorded that. 'Cause I want that.
Hi, guys. We love y'all.
We
I
love
love
y'all.
every one
Love
of
y'all
you.
too.
You're
Y'all
very
take
Yeah,
much.
tell your
a part of my-
sisters I said, hey, when you talk to them.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
love y'all.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Buddy.
Take care.
Okay.
I'll take care.